Nina and Mark had just moved into an old countryside house outside of Michigan. It was quiet, surrounded by trees, and cheap, too cheap. They were excited, laughing while unpacking boxes. The house creaked a little, but they brushed it off. The real estate agent had said, "Ignore the basement. It's just storage." 3 days later, while looking for the fuse box, Nina found a small wooden door behind a shelf in the basement. It had no handle. She called Mark. Together, they moved the shelf, and Mark pried it open with a crowbar. Behind it was a narrow staircase going down. It didn't match the house blueprints. They went down slowly, phone flashlights on. The air was cold, like a refrigerator, and damp. At the bottom was a small, windowless room made of stone. In the center, an old iron chair with leather straps on the arms and legs. A dirty journal lay beside it. Nina opened the book. It was filled with handwritten notes, dates, and strange drawings. One line kept repeating, "The silence is not empty. It listens." Mark laughed nervously. "Creepy stuff. Let's get out of here." But as they turned, the door slammed shut. Their phones flickered and died. He smiles strangely and walks away without saying a word. I watch him as he goes into the dark night. After a few seconds, I can't see him anymore. It feels strange and quiet again. I go back inside and sit behind the counter. Suddenly, I hear a soft noise in the back room. It sounds like something moving. I stand up and walk slowly to the back. The floor is still wet, and now the lights are flickering more. I look around but see no one. Then I hear a soft whisper. "Behind you." I turn around quickly, no one is there. I feel my heart beat faster. My hands are cold. I walk back to the front and try to open the door. It's locked from the outside. But I didn't lock it. I grab my phone to call someone. But the screen is black. It was working fine before. I check the security camera. It shows the store is empty. But for 1 second, I see a dark shadow behind me on the screen. I turn around. Again, no one is there. Then I hear my name. Jake. A cold wind blows across my neck. I want to leave, but I can't. Something is in the gas station with me. And it's watching me. Hours later, they managed to escape when the door mysteriously creaked open. Shaken, they ran upstairs. The next morning, Nina visited an old man next door, Mr. Keller. When she mentioned the hidden room, his face turned pale. That house belonged to a man who experimented on people in the 60s. No one ever found the basement room. Some say it only appears to certain people. You unlocked it. Now it won't forget you. That night, as they tried to sleep, Nina woke up to soft tapping under the bed. Then a whisper. The silence is listening. She turned to Mark. He was awake, eyes wide. He whispered, "It's in the walls again." The room grew cold, and from downstairs the sound of the hidden door slowly opening. Nina grabbed Mark's arm. "What do we do?" she whispered. Mark didn't answer. He sat up slowly, listening. Creak, creak. Footsteps on the stairs. But they weren't theirs. Nina reached for her phone to turn on the flashlight, but the screen stayed black.
Dead.
Mark slid off the bed and picked up the flashlight they had used earlier.
Click.
Nothing.
Dead too.
Suddenly, a low humming began, like a voice vibrating through the walls. It rose and fell like someone trying to speak without a mouth. Then, "Nina," it breathed from the hallway. A dry, distant voice. She froze. "That's my father's voice," she whispered, trembling. "But your dad's been dead for years," Mark said, backing toward the window. A sharp knock on the bedroom door. Then a whisper from the other side. "Open it or I will." Mark grabbed Nina's hand and pulled her away from the door. The knob slowly began to turn. Creak, creak. But it didn't open. Instead, the door breathed. It inhaled, the wood stretching like lungs under pressure. Then it exhaled. A blast of freezing air swept into the room through the cracks. From under the door, something dark began to slip in, like a shadow but thicker, moving with intention. Nina screamed. Mark yanked open the closet door. In here, now, They both squeezed inside, shaking, barely fitting. Mark held the door with one hand. Nina covered her mouth. Then silence.
Total.
Until
Tap. Tap. Tap.
from inside the closet, but not the door. From behind them, Nina turned, barely able to move in the tight space. Her breath caught in her throat, carved into the closet wall behind the coats, barely visible in the dark. The silence is listening. Suddenly, the wall behind them began to crack open. The cracking grew louder, like wood splitting under pressure. Nina turned fully, pushing coats aside, and froze. Behind the hanging clothes, a hidden panel in the wall had started to open on its own, revealing a narrow, pitch-black tunnel. Mark stared. That wasn't there before. From inside the tunnel, a voice whispered, dry and slow, "Come see what you forgot." Nina backed away, but the closet door slammed shut behind them, hard. They were trapped. Suddenly, a dim red glow began to pulse from inside the tunnel, revealing old, peeling wallpaper and something scratched onto the wood with fingernails. "You shouldn't have come back." Mark looked at Nina. "Back? You've never been here before, right?" Nina didn't answer. Her face had gone pale. I don't remember," she whispered. Then the red glow shifted, revealing something deeper in the tunnel. A figure.
Thin. Tall.
Head tilted. Its arms were too long, its mouth too wide, and its eyes missing. It raised a hand, and in the voice of Nina's dead father, it said, "You left the door open, Nina. You let it follow you." Nina shook her head, backing away from the tunnel.
No.
"I didn't. I locked it. I remember locking it." The figure in the tunnel began to move forward, slowly, unnaturally, its limbs bending in wrong directions. Mark grabbed the flashlight again, hit it hard against the wall, once, twice. It flickered on. He pointed it toward the tunnel. The figure vanished. Gone, just an empty tunnel. For a moment, silence returned. Then,
boom. Boom. Boom.
Something began slamming against the inside of the closet wall behind the tunnel. Harder each time. Nina screamed, "It's coming through." Suddenly, the light beam flickered again, then died. Darkness. Mark tried the closet door. It wouldn't budge. Nina was breathing fast, panicked. Then, from the darkness of the tunnel, a voice whispered, "You carried it here in your silence." A cold hand reached from the tunnel and touched Nina's shoulder. She turned. Nothing. But when she looked down, she saw it. A faint red handprint burned into her skin. Mark yelled, kicked the closet door with all his strength, once, twice. It burst open. They tumbled out into the bedroom, gasping. But the room was different now. The walls were bleeding words. In deep red, across every surface. "The silence is listening. You let it in. It never left." And from downstairs, the sound of something heavy crawling up the stairs. Mark pulled Nina to her feet. "We have to leave, now." They ran out of the bedroom, down the dark hallway. Behind them, the crawling sound grew louder, wet, dragging, and human. The stairs groaned as they descended, each step colder than the last. They reached the living room. But the front door was gone. Not locked, gone. Replaced by more wall, covered in the same red writing. "There's no way out," Nina whispered. Mark turned to the basement door. It stood wide open. That narrow staircase, still leading down into blackness. The air flowed from it like ice and breath. Then the crawling stopped. Silence. Until a voice came from behind them, low and calm, as if it had always been there. "You should have stayed quiet." Nina turned slowly. The figure was standing at the top of the stairs. Closer now. Clearer. No eyes. No mouth. Just a cracked, pale face and hands that twitched like they didn't belong to it. Mark stepped in front of Nina. "Stay behind me." The figure smiled without a mouth. Then whispered inside their minds. "It's not the house. It's you. You brought me back when you started remembering." Suddenly, the lights flickered on for the first time. They weren't in their home anymore. They were in a room with padded walls. A single flickering bulb. Old speakers in the ceiling. Nina turned. Mark was gone. She was alone. The speaker crackled. Tell us again about the voices, Nina. Then silence. Then tapping under the floor. And again a whisper. The silence is listening. I check the camera screen. It shows only me. But then, for 1 second, I see a second figure standing behind me. It is tall, dark, and not moving. I turn around quickly, no one is there. My hands start to shake. My body feels cold. I look at the screen again. The second figure is gone. I whisper to myself, what is happening? I try the front door again. Still locked. The whole gas station feels strange now. The lights are flickering, and the radio is silent. Suddenly, I hear the sound of a gas pump turning on outside. But no one is there. I didn't turn it on. I look through the window. One of the pump handles is moving by itself. I step back, my heart pounding. Something is playing with me. Something I can't see, but I know it's there. I grab my phone to call for help. The screen is black.
It is dead.
I press the power button again and again, but nothing happens. The phone was working before. Now it's like it has no power at all. I feel more scared. I put the phone down and look outside. The gas station is still empty, but I see something move near the pumps. It looks like a person, but I can't see the face. I blink, and the figure is gone. I slowly walk back to the security screen. I see the store, and then again, a dark shadow behind me. It's getting closer. I turn around. No one is there. Then I hear a loud whisper in my ear. You can't leave. I run to the back door, but it slams shut before I can reach it. Now I know. I am trapped inside with something not human. I hear a pump turn on, but I know the pumps are all off. I walk slowly to the window and look outside. One pump handle is moving by itself, like someone is using it, but there is no one there. The screen on the pump starts to blink, showing numbers. But no car, no person. I feel a chill go down my back. I step away from the window, very afraid now. Then, I hear a sound from the closet near the office. It sounds like something breathing. I walk slowly toward it. The door is half open. I turn on my phone's flashlight, but remember, my phone is dead. Suddenly, I see red writing appear on the mirror across the room. It says, "Don't turn around." I freeze in place. I feel a cold breath on my neck. Something is standing right behind me. In the office mirror, I see a face behind me. I spin around quickly, but there is nothing there. My heart is beating very fast. I feel like I can't breathe. I look in the mirror again. The face is gone. I slowly back away from the mirror. Then I hear a loud noise from the back room, like something falling. I run to the front of the store. The lights start to flicker again. Suddenly, I hear a deep, slow voice say, "Why are you still here?" I don't know where the voice is coming from. It sounds like it's everywhere. I want to leave, but the doors are still locked. I shout, "Leave me alone." But the voice only laughs. I know now, this is not just a bad night. This place is haunted, and it doesn't want me to go home. The air grows heavy. I hear loud breathing close to my ear. It sounds like someone is standing right behind me. I don't move. I am too scared. Slowly, I turn around. But again, there is no one there. I feel cold all over. My hands are shaking. I try to speak, but no words come out. Suddenly, the lights turn off. I stand in complete darkness. Then I hear footsteps, slow, heavy, and getting closer. I turn on my phone flashlight, but remember, it's still dead. I take a small step back. The breathing gets louder. It feels like it's right in front of me now. Then, I hear the same voice whisper, "Don't leave." I run toward the back door, hoping it will open. But before I reach it, the door slams shut by itself. I am trapped again. And now I know I'm not alone in the dark. I run to the back exit. But the door slams shut before I reach it. It closes fast and loud, like someone pushed it hard. I try to open it, but it's locked. I bang on the door, shouting, "Let me out." But no one answers. The store is completely silent again. Suddenly, I hear a noise from the ceiling, like something is crawling above me. I look up, but see only the old ceiling tiles. Then the lights flicker again, and I hear the voice say, "You can't escape." I step away from the door, breathing fast. Then I hear my name again. Mark. It sounds like many voices whispering at the same time. I feel like the walls are closing in. I know now. This place doesn't want me to leave alive. Through the small window, I see the shadow figure watching me. It is tall, and its body looks dark and blurry. It doesn't move. It just stands still, staring at me. I step away from the window, my heart beating fast and loud. I feel like I'm going to faint. I hide behind the counter and try to stay quiet. But I can hear footsteps again, this time inside the store. Slow, heavy, getting closer. I cover my mouth so I don't scream. Then I hear a whisper right behind the counter. "Your shift is over." I jump up and run to the front door. Suddenly, the lock clicks open by itself. Without thinking, I pull the door open and run outside into the night. I don't look back. I keep running until I reach the road. A car stops and picks me up. I don't tell the driver what I saw. I just want to go home. That was my last shift at the gas station. I never went back. And no one ever worked there again. I never returned to the gas station. No one wants to work there after what happened. The place stays empty and quiet. But every night, the lights still flicker. People who drive by say they see a shadow inside. Some hear whispers or footsteps, even when the door is locked. But no one goes in. The gas station is still there, waiting for the next person who dares to stay for one more shift.